Happy New Year! Happy New Year! It's so good to be with you all in 2018. And for the new year, I wanted to talk today about what is the most important resolution that you need to make 2018 the best year ever. And I think this is important because it's natural this time of the year that we start to hopefully we don't just start, but we've been reflecting on where we are in our life and where we want to go, and maybe changes that we want to make so that we are in more alignment with the most authentic or best version of ourselves. And so I thought, yeah, let's talk about, it can be so overwhelming when we're looking into the future and sensing all of the changes that we're wanting to make and what exactly we should do and will we be successful and all of that stuff. So I thought it'd be useful to talk about the most important resolution that you'll ever need to make, the only one really that you need to make to have the most amazing year of your life. And so before we dive into that content, we'll settle in here. We'll take a deep breath in through our nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Let's do another one like that. Deep breath in. Exhale and let it go. Feel yourself arrive here in this space. And allow yourself to come more fully into this moment by being in your body. Welcome. I see people joining, but I'm not sure who. So if you come on, you can say hi, and hopefully I'll be able to see your comments. Welcome. Happy New Year. It's great to be with you in the new year. So let yourself arrive in your body. Really feel your body from the inside out. And allow yourself to be in your body as you receive the message that you're needing to receive today from this teaching. There's a way in which we can listen from our head, which is the typical way we listen. We listen literally, most of our attention and our awareness is focused up in this part of our bodies as we're listening to people talk. And this is the place, this area of the body is a place where all of our judgments and our kind of limiting beliefs live. Hey, Kathleen, welcome. And so it's really useful to begin to drop down into the rest of your body, because there's actually wisdom there that you can access, and you'll make more connections as I'm talking, especially if you let your awareness rest down into the bowl of your pelvis. So feeling the space about 2 inches beneath the navel. And as I'm breathing, I'm even allowing my breath to fill there. And then see if you can stay connected to that part of the body, again, as you receive these words. And as you find you lose connection, that's really natural, you probably will. Just the moment you realize it, come back to the belly. The most important resolution that you ever need to make in your life, it's really important to know this because I'll just share a personal story. This year has been 2017, I should say, not this year, but last year. First of all, I don't know if you're like me, but I get sick and tired of hearing people be so done with the old year. Oh, I'm so ready for 2017 to be over. And I get it. There's a lot of turmoil and for some people, political upset that happened in the year. But if you find yourself saying, because it's not the first time I've heard people say this. I mean, I've heard it for so many New Years now. Let's be done with the old year so we can enter into the new. As if we have this illusion, welcome Nancy, we have this illusion that in some way, shape, or form, things will magically transform. Happy New Year! And become completely different this year for some reason, right, than they were before. And so I want to start off by first saying, the path to peace and the path to growth starts with being okay with where you are. Right? We're so quick to move forward and say, well, this is where I want to be, and this is where I am. And the gap between where you are and where you want to be, and that gap lies your suffering. And so I can be excited about the new me that I'm running towards in the new year, right? I'm going to start exercising regularly. I'm going to up my self-care. I'm going to be more unapologetic in my communication, in terms of I'm really going to unleash my voice and be seen and heard this year. I don't know, whatever your resolutions are this year, what you'd like to make manifest in your life. All of that begins by making peace with now. Making peace with where you're at right now. And so the key, and then I'll share you a little story from a little personal story. The key to having the best year ever, 2 words: loving presence. Loving presence. It's so easy when we're leaning forward too much into the future in our minds, and when we're imagining where we're going in the new year. It's so easy to lose track of the most important place that you should be in your life. Hi, Lisa, welcome, which is right here, right now, right? This idea of 2018, it's just an idea, right? Actually, time is really just an idea. Everything is always and only happening in this only moment. This is the only moment you have quote unquote control over. And actually you don't even have, you have a certain amount of control there. But ultimately the only thing that any of us has control over, hi Lisa, thank you, is where you place your awareness. And if my awareness or your awareness or our awareness is all locked up and locked into where we want to be, and we're not accepting and loving ourselves where we are in the process, then we will fail. We will. Because the moment we get overwhelmed, the moment we lose our, the moment we don't get enough sleep, or we have an argument with our partner, our kids are doing poorly in school, or our car breaks down, or like something in life just happens, which it always does, because that's how life is. Where does that resolution go? It goes out the window, because we've been driven by fear. So if I'm leaning too forward into the future and I'm trying to hold on to some idea of who I think I should be and what I need to do to get there, I'm in fear. Fear drives that. Any growth or change that we want to make needs to come, if we want it to last, it needs to come from a place of love. And that always begins with acceptance and where we are in this present moment. So you might just imagine yourself and where you are right now, right? It's after the holiday, maybe you put on a couple pounds, like it's so natural, right? I was putting my jeans on, I was like, woo! Woo! They're a little tight. Or you can look at the things that you want to make manifest for this year and where you're going. And, but anyway, if we just kind of pull back, I don't know where I was going with that piece, but if we just pull back and notice where we're at right now, the body that we're in, the mind that we have now, the heart that we have now, our relationships and where they're at right now, everything that's unresolved and resolved, everything that's imperfect and beautiful in your life right now, and you have both without exception. Is it okay with you? I'm not saying that you like it, but can you extend some kindness and compassion to the place where you're at right now? In this body that you have, in this heart that you have, in this mind that you have. And then the place where we want to give most of our energy and our attention isn't to a concept or an idea of where we're going. Hi, Renee, welcome. It's always in the moment at hand. Whenever our energy is invested in the moment at hand, whether it be I'm relating to someone, my kids or my husband or my friends or my clients, or whether it be I'm washing the dishes, True happiness comes from completely engaging in that. And then what we want to do is line up our activities in our life with our true, like, our truest values, like our deep core values within. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit and explain, just tell a little personal story. So last year's 2017 was an incredible year of growth for me. Incredible year of growth for my business, an incredible year of growth for in my personal life. Really, I mean, it was, you know, it certainly had its rough moments for sure. I mean, stress, absolutely. Fear, oh yeah, for me. Doubt, oh, you know, all of that happened as well. But, you know, when I look back, I'm like, wow, I've really come, you know, 2017, it came a long way. A lot happened, a lot shifted, a lot moved. And I'd say 2017 was the year too that I was the most invested probably in my life of like the becoming aspect of who we are. So it's like, I've been practicing the tools of mindfulness and really being present for years. And my life, I've gained so much. Actually, it is the reason where I'm at right now, is because I've started to focus my entire life around the present moment. And typically when we do that, we're able to create the experience in our life that we're wanting to, moment by moment. And you put a bunch of those together, and you have an incredible life ultimately. And so I got a little away from my practice of presence, especially towards the end of the year. You know, I'm in I receive personal coaching and guidance, but I also receive business coaching and guidance. And so this is the first year that I really was like, okay, where am I going in 2018? Like, planned it out. And I found myself really sinking into the gap between where I was and where I was going. It's like, this is where I'm at, but I want to be here. I want to be way over here. And I started noticing like anxiety building up with me and overwhelm. And I wasn't excited. I wasn't excited about 2018 and where I was going, because it felt like too much. Do you ever have this happen where it's like, it's so much? Like, there's just so many aspects of your life that you can see need tweaking and changing, and you just get overwhelmed by all of it, right? This all happens in the mind, by the way. So as I was planning for my year, I was getting more and more caught up in my head and feeling lack as I was comparing myself to not just my future self, but also other people who are farther ahead than me. And you should, by the way, always, always, always surround yourself with people who are farther ahead than you. You know, who are, you know, either have a relationship that you really want, or have, you know, abundance like you want, or are passionate in their pursuit of their dreams like you want. Positive people. We need to surround ourselves with those people. That's one of the reasons that I created this group. It's one of the reasons I come here and do live videos for you guys, because I want you to be, you know, I want you to have this sort of inspiring, you know, content information. We need to do that. So I do that. And I found myself really getting lost in comparison. Do you ever do that? You ever get like really, really stuck and feeling like less than, and it's never going to happen for you? And, you know, yeah, it happened for them because they've got the confidence, they've got the wealth, they've got whatever to make their dreams happen, but not me, that sort of thing. And so I was finding myself kind of caught in that. And I took a week off, you know, with my family, and luckily, you know, my husband is amazing in terms of so many ways, but I can really talk to him. And I was like, you know, babe, this is what I'm feeling. And he's like, oh yeah. Hey, Sue, you've gotten away from your practice. It's kind of like a little vulnerable for me to share this with you too, because, well, you guys know I'm not perfect, clearly. I'm human. And even though I coach people daily on being present, it's something that I always am coming back to over and over and over again. And so I dropped it. I dropped all of my ideas about where I'm going in 2018. And I set my New Year's resolution to the thing that always, it's the only thing that ever works. Loving presence. And then we can whittle it down a little bit and we can start to ask, you know, I love Danielle LaPorte's work and she talks about this, but it's really, it does work. Think about how you want to feel. Think about how you want to feel, not just this year. It's too much to look too far ahead of. Let's just keep it to today. How about now? What do you want today to be like? What kind of day do you want to create? How do you want to feel in your day? You know, do you want to feel vibrant? Do you want to feel confident? Do you want to feel at ease? Do you want to feel, you know, you can even comment here in the thread, like, how do you want to feel today? Don't get too far ahead of yourself. Because when you get too far ahead of yourself, you miss it. You miss the magic that's always happening right now. And I'll say this too. We can't just rely on our little small selves, right? For anything to really work, we have to trust in something more vast than us. And whether you call it God or spirit or source, I don't care what name you give it, you ain't doing this on your own. No one is. I'm not. You know, my family's not. You're not. So when we trust that there's a supportive, loving presence, and by the way, that support goes up exponentially when we start to tap into it, and we actually start to relate to a creator, relate to a loving presence, relate to that wisdom that beats your heart. You didn't have anything to do with that. Do you know your heart started beating before your brain was developed? What was that? That's a wisdom. You know, I call that wisdom God, but you might call it something else. Life force energy. You know, I'm so glad that brings some peace. So you right now are being held. I'm being held. And if we can trust that, we can start to sort of let go of all the ways we try to control everything and ourselves and others. And we can start to relax into the imperfection of this only moment. And I say imperfection because it's often our need to fix or change the moment because we judge it as imperfect. And that imperfection is wrong. Okay, so yeah, it's imperfect. That's a given. Number one in The Road Less Traveled, one of the first personal development books by M. Scott Peck, I think. Number one, life is hard. First noble truth, life is suffering. It's not meant to bring you down. It's meant to actually bring you some relief. Like, oh, you mean it's okay that I'm like imperfect and that I make these, today I'm going to juice, but tomorrow I ate chocolate cake and that wasn't on the agenda and I'm still okay? Yes. Your enoughness, your okayness is always what you're seeking to remember. And you can only ever remember it here in this moment. And it happens by loving what is. So right now, sense where you're at. Sense what your challenges are. You know, is there something you're really grappling with right now in your life or wrestling with? And rather than trying to fix or change it, just for this moment, can you allow it to be as it is? And instead of judging it, can you actually start to sense what it needs? What is it needing? This starts to shift the ground from which we're operating on, and magic begins to happen. When we're in flow, when we're in this, and it doesn't mean you have to work hard. I work really hard. I'm not lying. Like, for my life, for me to have a fulfilling life, you know, on purpose, aligned, I work hard at it every day. In terms of like meditation, my own personal practices, studying with really good teachers, investing money in a lot of it, in getting good support and guidance. Because I've seen over and over again that this does actually, it doesn't create anything new. But what it does is, Rumi says, we need not seek for love. We just need to remove the veils that we have erected against it. And so that is what I want to leave you with today. How do you want to feel today? Today. What would be something wonderful you could do for yourself today? Is it take a bath? Is it take a walk on the beach? Is it to like listen to some really good soothing music and do nothing else? And if you feel like you don't have time, then let's talk, because that's just not true. If I have time, you have time. You know what I mean? Like, I got 2 little kids, I work full time. I'm a pretty busy person, and I find the time, I make the time to do it. And so let this year be the year where you come home to you. And let this year be the year where you stop getting too far ahead of yourself and you start being impeccably, imperfectly present, lovingly with what is, trusting that you are supported and that you are guided by a force that is greater than you. You don't need proof of it. Stop looking for proof. It's already here. Your heart is beating. You're breathing. This life, you didn't do this. You didn't do this at all. This is a gift. I mean, contemplate that for a second. And we have such trust issues around like things working out okay. Right? But there is a trustworthy source that's running the show, and you can actually relate to that. And as you start to trust it more and more, things will arise in your experience in the present moment that will guide you to where you're designed to go. You'll meet someone, they'll say something to you, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to follow that thread. I'm going to go to that class, or I'm going to call that person, or, and there it goes. And then you're led, just one step at a time towards the life that you were designed to live. And it's already happening right now. So I hope this served you today. Thanks for the comments, you guys. Sending you so much love and many blessings. I'm beginning the New Year round of my transformational program. If you want to schedule a session with me to see if it's right for you, then I left a link to get on my calendar. We're actually starting next week, but I always hold open, a week or 2 for late enrollment. So if you want to find out about that and you really want support in this type of stuff, I highly recommend it. Like I said, we can't do it alone. If you're ready for that if you really want to make a change in your life in this direction, you really want to be more present in your life and up your self-care, up your sense of enoughness, tame your inner critic, all that good stuff, then schedule some time to talk with me, all right? Much love and many blessings. Love you guys. Namaste.